My daughter, at 27, gave birth to her only child. And then 2 weeks later found out that she had stage 4 colon cancer. 2 weeks afterwards, we went to a very well-known research center, one of the best in the world. And we were there for 3 or 4 days. And it wasn't going very well. We really weren't finding the leadership that we wanted. We really weren't finding the help that we needed. And so it was very, very challenging. We were going through a lot of tests, a lot of emotions, things like that. And during one of those days when my daughter was in getting a scan, my wife and I had this 2-week-old, 3-week-old premature baby with us. And we were sitting by a bank of elevators. We sat there for probably an hour, and literally hundreds of people walked by us. And no one stopped to talk to us, which was fine, until one lady came over. And this lady was impeccably dressed and came over and she said, "Hi." She said, "What a lovely baby. I hope you're not here for the child." And we said no, and we shared our daughter's story. And she said, "Well, that's really interesting because I had the exact same thing happen to me 40 years ago. They went ahead and did a cesarean, take the baby. And when they did, they found cancer, and they just basically said that I was going to die. I was in a coma for 30 days and then went through a lot of surgery, a lot of chemo. And here's 40 years later, and she's still alive." She was very kind and very loving, and she just had an aura about her. And she said, "I want to tell you that your child is going to be okay, that your daughter is going to be okay. She's going to live through this. She is going to survive, and your grandson's going to do fine too." And then she just walked away. And my wife and I were sitting there, and we said, well, that was really odd to have all these people walk by, and this one person shared this story with us and had the exact same thing and gave us these words of hope. And we really felt rejuvenated by this. And then I started saying, there was something odd about this woman. I said, she was so graceful. I wonder if she was a dancer. She walked like she was a dancer. And my wife said, yeah. And she kind of had translucent skin. And so the more we started thinking about this, we were thinking, I wonder if God has sent us a messenger to go ahead and give us faith and hope. We are a very faithful family. But until your faith is tested, you really don't know how strong your faith is. And I was so surprised. We never got angry with God. We never blamed God. We tried to figure out what we were supposed to learn about this and how we were supposed to make it through. And through her entire story, we would be in the very darkest places, and God would provide us with the best possible outcomes. But this one woman was the closest thing to an angel that I've ever experienced.
Imagine yourself kind of young, new driver, on my own in my kind of early 20s, taking a really long car trip, one of my first really long car trips. And I'm driving through Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm up in the far left lane. And this loud noise starts in my car. It's like terrifyingly loud. So I immediately pull over, and I'm against that cement divider. 4 lanes of traffic going eastbound, 4 going west, just zooming by me. I can barely get out of the car. I'm terrified. I feel like an animal trapped up against that barrier. And so I pop the hood and I'm looking, going, unless it's something that's clearly like with a sign that says, hey, this is what's broken, I'm really not going to know what's happening. So I'm standing there and trying to figure out what to do. Pre-cell phone smartphones. There were cell phones, but not smartphones. So I was like, can I get back in my car, get my phone, get my AAA card, do the thing? And as I'm doing this big white truck pulls up behind me, and this guy gets out and says, can I help you? And I said, yeah. And I said, this is what happened. And so he said, get in and then start the car again. I did. And he immediately saw that one of my spark plugs had blown out. So he tightened it back down as much as he could so I could limp to the next exit. But when I got out to thank him and I said, how did you pull behind me when you were just seeing me? How did you get behind me so quickly? Usually they'd be like down the road a bit, right? They'd have passed you and thought, oh, I should pull over for this person. He said, no, I saw you I was going the other direction. I saw you and I could tell you were stranded. So I got off at the exit and I turned around and came back to you. Immediately, I knew that he was an angel, that God had sent him with the purpose of helping me. And to this day, I still think he is one of the most impactful people in my life because he tells me, hey, turn around. God has need of you.